Hello there my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And I hope today you're feeling the power of the dark side because today we just got the official trailer for the upcoming animated Star Wars show, Maul Shadow Lord, The Return of Maul, one of the most iconic villains of the prequel trilogy. This really feels like a unique continuation in the legacy of the Clone Wars Season 7, and we're dealing with Maul's takeover of the underworld 1 year after Order 66. This looks insane. And for what feels like the first time ever, Lucasfilm forecasted the trailer a whole day in advance. They took to social media to post a teaser for the trailer to get us all hyped, and oh boy did it work. I wonder if this is part of Dave Filoni's new approach to Star Wars marketing. If it is, it's already an improvement, because usually they just drop stuff without any notice. But before we get into the main trailer, and between that and some info on StarWars.com there is a lot to talk about, let's do a small breakdown of what was in the mini teaser first. If you want to talk about going for the right tone for a show like this, which seems a lot darker than the Clone Wars and even the Bad Batch, they nailed it. The eerie reds and blacks, the iconic colours of the former Sith Zabrak, the use of Jewel of the Fates as a musical motif, it was 25 seconds of pure exhilaration. And through the blood splatters we see flashes of Maul's past and his future. His original death in The Phantom Menace, we even see his eventual death in Rebels at the hands of Obi-Wan on Tatooine. Now this could just be for member-berry's sake, just something to remind us of what Maul has been through, but imagine if in the show, we see Maul have a force vision or premonition about his eventual fate, because despite the underworld stuff, he's still obsessed with Obi-Wan. But now my friends, on to the main trailer itself. So we open on the brand spanking new planet of Janix, a vibrant place that resembles a hybrid of the lower levels of Coruscant and Daiyu from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Now it might be a place of flashing lights, but it's the best hiding spot because it hasn't yet succumbed to the Empire. And this is why, and we know this from StarWars.com and the upcoming tie-in comic, Maul is going to use it as a base to rebuild his criminal underworld. The bad news for the Zabrak is that eventually he does get on the Empire's radar, and Inquisitors are sent after him, notably two members you should already be familiar with, Marok from Ahsoka and Tales of the Empire, and the Birdman Inquisitor, controversially known as the 11th brother. So the Inquisitors Maul later faces in Rebels were not his first rodeo, but they're not the only villains that Maul has to contend with. He's also drawn unwanted attention from a local cop, who also features in the upcoming tie-in comic, whose name is Captain Branda Lawson, described on StarWars.com as a respected police detective, and his partner is a droid named Two Boots, voiced by the legendary Richard Ayoade. And the design of the Janix Police Department suits and their droids kind of borrows from Coruscant's Underworld Police. But seeing certain frames and their functionality, I'm reminded of Preox Morlana from Andor. I don't know if there was any inspiration there, but they do look pretty badass. But the most exciting part of this series for me, my friends, is something not explicitly said in the trailer, but it is implied, that Maul is going to have to fight Darth Vader. Something Star Wars fans have wanted to see for decades. And why do I say this? Because Maul gets on the Empire's radar, and if he beats the Inquisitors, which let's be honest he will, who do you think is going to be sent as the final boss? Lord Vader himself, the new apprentice of Maul's former master. And as we know from Maul's conversation with Ahsoka at the end of the Clone Wars Season 7, he knows all about Anakin's turn to the dark side. He knows Palpatine's been grooming him. So during their fight, is there going to be some psychological warfare? And you might be thinking, wait a minute, how can Vader fight Maul if Maul is alive later on in Star Wars Rebels? Because I believe he escapes by the skin of his teeth. It's why he tells the rebels later on Malachor that he can't fight Vader alone. How does he know this? He tried it, and it failed. Maybe he puts his apprentice in harm's way. Who knows? She's a Jedi survivor of Order 66, and not the only one we're going to see in this show. And eventually is recruited by Maul, and we assume she's going to turn to the dark side. But because she's nowhere to be seen later in the timeline, and Maul eventually recruits Kira, I don't think this character is going to be around for very long, but I could be wrong about that. And something teased in this trailer which is going to add a lot of depth is her mourning of the Jedi Order of old. How does she let go of her past? And the Star Wars website does say she had aspirations of becoming a Jedi Master, but those hopes have been dashed. but it's going to be very interesting to see what she becomes, what kind of path she takes. Does she try to betray Maul? Does she eventually die? All questions which are prescient. And because she's a Red Twi'lek, ever since she first appeared at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, fans have been wondering, is this a canon version of Darth Talon? It seems to me the answer is no. I mean, she could eventually fill the role, she might change her name, but for now, it's Devon Izara. And StarWars.com says, on the run from the Empire, Izara is conflicted. Living and hiding to survive challenging times, she must adapt and accept a future far different from the one she expected, and that was to become a Jedi Master. On Maul's side, we have both familiar faces and new ones. Maul DeLorean loyalist Rook Kast is back, someone who led the Shadow Collective Super Commandos during the Clone Wars. But also, my friends, we have some new faces, notably some new Zabrak warriors. What's their deal? What are they about? And I have to say, the animation style is the most impressive of any animated show post-Clone Wars Season 7. I honestly thought the Bad Batch was as good as it's gonna get, but this one is more stylized. It's a hybrid. It borrows from and expands the same kind of format, but it's also far more artistic, if you notice the brushstroke textures during the lightsaber fights. Now, in terms of the release date and the release schedule, things are changing. Instead of Tuesdays or Wednesdays, they're going to Mondays. The 2-episode premiere is on April 6th, and then it's 2 episodes a week until Star Wars Day. So maybe not as long as some fans would have hoped, especially if you look at the Clone Wars seasons or the Bad Batch, but substance-wise, based on comments from Sam Witwer and Lucasfilm, I reckon this show is going to give us a lot. So much to discuss, and I can't wait to do breakdowns again. So 10 episodes over 5 weeks, and Lucasfilm say this: Maul Shadow Lord is a super fast-paced action thrill ride, with classic homages to George Lucas and the original serials that inspired Star Wars. And I have to admit, I'm more excited for this than so many other projects coming soon, but at least they're marketing it. The trailer is titled a teaser trailer, so I do expect maybe a month out, maybe in March, we will get a longer, fuller trailer. And I think it's safe to say this trailer kind of rules out a lot of fan worries that this show is going to make Maul the good guy. In addition to this, we have some really important comments from Sam Witwer, the voice of Maul himself. Maul Shadow Lord is going to have a surprisingly large emphasis on the Jedi Order. Maul is coming to terms with his former master's plans, the destruction of the Jedi during Order 66, and investigating Palpatine's new apprentice. And this goes hand in hand with something he said at Star Wars Celebration. Maul's relationship to the Jedi and how he views the paradigm of Jedi and Sith, now that he's no longer a Sith, has changed. And Sam also said, we don't actually know how many Jedi Maul has killed, but it's more than we think. So, I'd love to see some flashbacks, I'd love to see an exploration of Maul's philosophy, his Force philosophy, but like I said, don't expect him to be the good guy. As Witwer said, he's a bad guy amongst worst guys. But now I turn it over to you, my dear friends. I will be making more videos on Maul Shadow Lord in the days to come, but what do you think? Does this teaser trailer excite you? Why so or why not? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.